Welcome to The Other Dimension with the team, Damon Penny, Ben Winfield, and Louisa Brown. We guide you through the supernatural, the occult, and the unexplained, answering questions that will make you question your grip of reality, with special guests guiding you through everything from demons to divination, cryptids to crystals, religion to skeptics. We explore in depth the true meaning of the unexplained. So strap in, kick back, and enjoy as we enter the other dimension.
What's happening, Tods? Welcome everyone, it's The Other Dimension. We are live and direct. It's your Friday night paranormal fix and I'm on my own. Totally unprepared. Because I didn't think I'd do it on my own, but look, this is the way we're going to run it. If I'm on my own tonight, we're going to do it as simple as this, right? I'm going to run through some ancients and lost cities, the stuff that I've done, because I don't lose. Look, I actually got notes for tonight all written down. So, cool. Right, welcome along. It's myself, the Paranormal Viking, a.k.a. Dame Penny, hosting the show. Big shouts out to Annette. Welcome along. Shouts out to the Stoke Hunters of Ghost on Trent. What's happening, Chris? Out to all the Scotland crew. All the sweaties. How you doing? A big shout out to Ems. How you doing? I hope you feel better soon. And it's the man of the hour. Big shout out to Wild Bill. Greetings from the ATL. The ATL. In the US of the A. Big shout out to Jeanette. How you doing? I hope you're enjoying your time with the new addition to the family. The team are working on that, so bear with me. Right, guys, if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to get involved in the show, we do have some bonus stuff going down now. We had taken a lot of stick about the fact that we got a Patreon, but you can sign up for £1 a month. I do regular weekly shows, so that works out to about 25 pence a show. If you want to do that, bloody hell, COVID. If you want to do that, and you want the bonus shows, this week's Patreon, I've done a couple of conspiracies involving Jack the Ripper. So something completely different from what we've really done before. Got some good responses from that. Big shouts out to Kate if you're locked in, because the questions you asked, amazing. So if you want to join that, patreon.com/The Other Dimension. Make sure you check that out. Also, guys, don't forget, if you go on our page, we will be live doing a talk in Walsall on the 24th of September. That's going to be massive. Tickets go on sale for the talks, but if you want to come down and look around the market, we'll be there. Big shouts out to the Texas crew, out to Charles Rudd. How you doing? Also, don't forget to check out our site, the teams that we sponsor. Thanks, Bill. Look, Bill's just put up there. I just put it up there. Being a Patreon is more worth than the price. Big shouts out to Bill. Always a massive big shouts to you, man. Right, what was I saying? Right. Also, don't forget to check out the teams that we sponsor. They go live. Truths go live. Maybe we're on a bit of a break in a minute because the team are off traveling the world. But we'll be starting going live again. Last week was at the Upminster Nostalgia Bar. Went amazing. If you want to check out the video, facebook.com/Truths Collective. Also, the other team that we sponsor, Supernatural UK, they'll be live tomorrow night from 9 p.m. If you want to catch their live, head over to facebook.com/Supernatural. If you want merchandise, links are on our page. Merchandise is coming. I'm hoping to be working on Sunday on a new shirt that combines all of the shows that we do here and the teams that we do here. So if you want to support the whole blanket, we're doing that. Thanks to Jeanette for the idea on that one. Don't forget, our Discord is live as well. So, on this week's show, I better get myself comfortable. I've got a show planned for you. This is how we're going to roll. Okay, guys? This is how we're going to do it. I'm going to go through the information I got here. If that only puts me halfway through the show, we're going to do an AQA. Ask me, an AMA. Ask me anything, right? Towards the end of the show. Big shouts out to everyone locked in. I know it's a summer's day. I know we're not going to have a lot of people on Facebook today. Big shouts out to Colour Me Pinkish, out to the YouTube crew. Welcome along. So I'm going to go through these. Now, tonight we're talking about ancient and lost cities. Now, it's not a strong subject for me, so I thought I'm going to go and do some research. Now, I've got a few down here, and then we're going to sort of progress from the ancient and lost cities into something that sort of bears into that, which is the hold on, is the root races that comes from Atlantis, right? Now, let's start. Now, there are a lot of ancient and lost cities that have been. Damon, we never know you stick to the question. I never do. I wing it mainly most of the time. But you lot, it's you lot. You throw me off my game. You stick things up there in chat, and I'm like, yeah, right, okay. Right. So there's a lot of ancient cities and lost cities that have been discovered over the years. I've pulled out some of them. You know, people talk about. I mean, I've got a couple of famous ones here, like Babylon, Machu Picchu. You've also got the lost city of Atlantis, which I've struggled to find information about, but me and Ben always talked about the fact that it's located in the eye of Africa, because it makes sense. It's the best place it can be. Yeah, that's exactly it, Jeanette. I am going to blame you guys. It's all your fault. It's your fault. So let's get on to this, right? If you did Ben have you do this after I asked him about the RH next? No. Oh, Ben put the idea across. I thought he was going to be here, but he's not. So, yeah, Deep End, Mimi armbands. Big shout out to Colour Me Pinkish. Love that name. So let's start them off. Now, in Rajasthan, I don't know how you supposed to say that. There is an ancient lost city called Kalibangan. Now, this is really cool because it was the world's earliest attested ploughed field, right? It is unique because it had fire altars. All right. It was discovered in 1919 AD, so that's after Jesus, by a guy called Luigi Pio Tessitori, an Italian Indologist, who was doing work on Ramshrit Manas, which is another ancient and lost city. Now, they say that this city, Kalibangan, was actually established 3,700 years before Christ, and it was abandoned 1,750 years before Christ. Now, the great thing about it, like I said, it has the fire altars. It's the first place that was discovered, the earliest to have a ploughed field. So you know that farming and agriculture was a big thing, and it's always been a big thing. So moving across, we go on to Gujarat, which is another place in India, and there is an ancient lost city called Lothal. Now, this is arguably the most important excavated city among all lost cities in the world. Lothal still shows the brilliance of city planning and organized structures during the times of the Indus Valley civilization. This is amongst the famous lost ancient cities in India, right? And it's located just outside Saragwala village in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. You can see this from Google Earth. I've checked it out. You can see this Google Earth. Discovered in 1954, established at 3,700 BC, and it did run alongside Kalibangan as well. So it's quite, it's sort of like around about the same era. Now this is really cool one. We go back to Gujarat. I can't say it. Dwarka is another one. It's the submerged city of Lord Krishna. It's actually it's in the Indian Ocean, and it's submerged underneath, and it has been preserved by the salt water. You think that salt water would like sort of eat away all the stone in that, but it's actually been preserved. And it's classed as one of the mythical lost cities. Now, the present day Dwarka is claimed to be the 7th city and the first 6 submerged of its coast in the Arabian Sea. Archaeologists, however, have only succeeded in recovering ruins that date back to the 15th century BC. So they believe there's more there. Yeah, but this is something that's underneath the sea. Discovered in 1983, estimated to be established at like 1500 BC. Right. Whew. All these long words. I'm really a boss eye by the night. Moving on. We move over to Cambodia. Now, these ones that I've picked out, because I don't know if you guys probably would have heard these ones. These are a bit more sort of popular. Now, in Cambodia, you got somewhere called Angkor, and it was once the capital city of the Khmer Empire. Right? It was a massive city in the jungles in Cambodia, and it was constructed by a guy called Khmer Hindu monarch Jayavarman II. Say that when you're drunk. Now, the entire city complex, it has like over 1,000 temples, and many of them have been restored for as a World Heritage Site. So you can go and visit this place in Cambodia. One of the most impressive structures inside this town is, I've got it written down, is Angkor Wat. And it draws millions of tourists every year. A team of researchers use satellite photographs to study the 1,000 square kilometre of the city in its entirety and determined that it was the largest pre-industrial city in the world. So there you go. I'm throwing some information out there tonight, guys. I hope you got your pen and paper. Big shouts out to Kate. Welcome along. You're not as late as you normally are, so big shouts out to you. Second half is your thing because we're going to do an AMA. Ask me anything, right? And I don't care if it causes disturbance or troubles or I get a ban. Second half, ask me anything. Now, everyone's heard of this one. We've got Pompeii in Italy. Now, we know about the Pompeii. We know about the explosion of Mount Vesuvius erupting in 79 AD, which blanketed the entire city in ash. Now, this ash and pumice actually sort of preserved it because it was so rapid, because of the rapid burial of Pompeii. It was preserved. Now, it kept mostly everything intact, and it is it's an amazing example of a Roman city. You can go on Google Earth and walk through Pompeii. It was lost for 1,700 years. Pompeii was rediscovered in 1749 by local farmers, and it has since become a tourist hotspot. A disaster that destroyed the community now offers visitors a window into Roman society. Amazing. I love the story of Pompeii. I don't know if anyone's seen the film, but the story of Pompeii is cool. I'm into like that history stuff. Like I watch stuff like Troy and bits like that. I love it. Now, question for you guys, and it's quick fire in the chat room, so get your fingers ready to type. Where do you think Babylon is? Where do you think Babylon is? Let's see if anyone knows that. I've got a feeling that some of you will know the answer to this. Big shouts out to the YouTubers, add to Colour Me Pinkish and Kate. I think you guys kind of see each other's comments as well, which is quite funny. Where do you guys think Babylon is? Let's see if anyone puts a little answer up there. So let's go through this while you're having a guess. Right. Now, Babylon was once, Jeanette's saying not a clue. Babylon was once the home to the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. I can't say anyone that, but it was one of the first of Mesopotamia's first cities and was constructed by an incredibly advanced civilization with a complex language, religion, and legal system. Colour Me Pinkish is right; he's very close. Babylon became the Mesopotamians' holy city, right? And that plays a massive role in occultology. Charles, close, but not quite Carlin, my friend. Now, it became the holy city during the time of the infamous Hammurabi's reign, and it was there that much of the well-known Hammurabi's Code was created. If you want to go and check that out, I will do a show on the Hammurabi Code because it's quality. It's like proper, it's like Da Vinci Code sort of thing. Babylon underwent multiple foreign occupancies and eventually was abandoned and left to fall into ruin. Where is Babylon, guys? It's just outside of Iraq. Well, it's in Iraq, but on the outskirts of Iraq. I didn't even know that until I said this one. Where Iraq is now. Yeah, exactly. Big shouts out to Colour. Yeah, you just Googled that. I know you did as well. Right, Petra, Jordan. Does anyone know, heard of Petra? This was made famous by Indiana Jones, a very famous ancient lost city. Petra was once the capital of the Nabateans and was an important trading center that linked Asia to Arabia with the West. Its intricate rose-colored buildings were carved directly into the rock and have awed visitors for generations and Jordan's most popular attraction. Big shout out to Colour Me Pinkish. I knew it. Now, the last one that I want to go through, because just keep throwing it out there, a bit of information on ancient cities. I want to get into something that's a little bit more sort of complex for the show. Something that's going to sort of change the way you look at things, I suppose. Now, the last one is Annie in Turkey. Now, this one, I love this one. Ani is actually known as the city of 1,001 churches and was once the capital of the 10th century Bagratid Armenian kingdom, which was huge, by the way. City stood on various trade routes, including some of the most technically and artistically advanced religious buildings, places, and fortifications in the world at the time. Some of these structures still stand. You can see them. You can go on Google Earth and see them. Amongst the ruins left by a Mongol invasion, a devastating earthquake, and eventual abandonment of the city, recognized as an important cultural, religious, and national heritage icon for Armenians. Ani is a beautiful symbol of their great history. Petra, I'm going to for my big 60th birthday present to myself. Wicked, and there. When you go into Petra, have a look at the architecture, right? And you're looking for the all-seeing eye. You'll find it on a lot of things, because according to conspiracy, Petra was built by the early. Well, I don't think they were called Freemasons at the time, but it was an early society that led into the Freemasons, supposedly. So, a little bit about ancient cities and lost cities. I was hoping Ben would be here tonight to sort of like, you know, throw his occult spin on things, but didn't work that way. But there you go. Now, when we talk about ancient and lost cities, you have to talk about this lost city of Atlantis. Now, the story of Atlantis come about. It was one of the first cities to. Well, it was made famous by people talking about it, you know, and they talk about the race of Atlantis. But what people don't realize is there were 7 races of Atlantis, and this goes back to the root races. Now, root races are basically like a timeline of the different races that have been around over the centuries. We talk about the first root race would be Polarians. The first root race was primarily spiritual, astral, or etheric, and did not leave physical remains. So when we talk about Polarians, we're talking, I believe, my opinion, I believe we're talking about early gods and goddesses, deities and stuff like that. The fact that they were primarily spiritual. Now, the Hyperboreans were they're the second root race. They were like a continuation of the first root race. They were semi-astral, but grew denser and more opaque with each passing age. So they basically got more and more stupid. Towards it, they become more gelatinous and more like sort of rudimentary in themselves. So you're talking about like a de-evolution. So you got the Polarians were the first, and they de-evolutioned into the Hyperboreans. But the main thing I want to talk about is you've got Lemurians. They were the first physical people to one of the first physical races. They were described as a race of 3-eyed giants inhabiting the lost continent of Lemuria, which is where the Indian and Pacific Ocean is now. These could have been what we class as Nephilim. You know, the ancient giant race that was spawned from the fallen. Now, me and Ben always talk about the lost city of Atlantis, and I managed to find out the Atlantean root races. And Atlantean was the root race itself, but then it goes into 7 sub races. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find out the information on each single race, but I thought I would throw the names out there, because there is one that stands out for me, right? So you've got the Romans, you've got the Tiavatils, the Toltecs, the first Turanians, the original Semites, Akkadians, and the Mongolians. Now, I know for a fact the Akkadians were the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, winged, psychic race of Atlantis, and they had the main ruler, right? So when we look at this, these are all root races that become before the cities that I spoke about. You move into Aryans. Now, Aryans is the 5th root race. We haven't actually had the 6th root race or the 7th root race put in place. They're just known as Seal and Trumpet. Now, if you look at the Aryans, they constituent sub-races of the Aryan 5th or present root race included, and they are the following. So they go in sort of this order. So you have number 1 was Hindus, Sumerians, Egypts, Hellenes, which is Greek and Romans, Europeans, Nova men, Indigo children, and Star children. Basically snowflakes. Even in root races, we have the snowflakes, ain't it? You got to have the snowflakes. So it is what it is. But these root races have been built up over time from people doing research back and back and back and back and back. Now, I do believe the Lumerians were the Nephilim, the original giant race. You know, the pedigree of the fallen. We talk about that all the time. It was written in the books of Enoch. Supposedly, the fallen angels, not demons, fallen angels, come down to, I don't know. I don't remember the reason why. I think it was something to do with the war that was happening in the heavens. They come down. They mated with women, and they spawned this race of giants called the Nephilim. So yeah, that's basically my little take on ancient cities and lost cities and root races. I mean, obviously, I'm going to plan a show where we go into a little bit more detail. I was hoping to go into a bit more detail tonight. Ben sort of knows this stuff off the top of his head. This is not my speciality. So I sort of like, I've given you the information, guys. You run with it. If anyone's got any questions, moving to the second part of the show where you can ask me anything, whether it be about conspiracies, what kind of socks I got on, what I had for dinner. Like, honestly, it's an AMA. I've never done one of these. I've done a Q&A where it's question and answer. I've never done an AMA properly where you can literally ask me anything. Floors with you guys. So if you've got any questions, put them up there on the chat room, and we'll get. I didn't even stick them up there. Oh, Kate's just put, I love the statues of East Island. I saw a picture the other day on Facebook where they were extracting underneath, and the Easter Island heads actually have bodies underneath. I don't know if I believe that. I'm not sure if I believe the picture. It looks a bit photoshopped, a bit staged to me. But I'm pretty sure, like, if you've got a giant head sticking out the floor, do you honestly think that there's not a body underneath it? No one just does a sculpture of a head. It's like, I don't know if I believe that or not. It's a little bit iffy, do you not think? There are some, like, I don't know, there's rumours about the statue of Zeus having some form of specific stone built into it. Do you know the one at Ephesus in Greece? What does your Right, okay, let's go. Let's hit these up. I wonder if they're graves. They could be. They could be. It could be early gravestones. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I definitely that. What does your tattoo represent? Sorry, the 87 keeps showing up. Right, my tattoo. Sorry, right. Let's have a look. Right, you can see that. I used to be a DJ. Long time ago. And the 87 is the year I was born, and I turned 35 at the end of the month. So that answers that one. I've got other tattoos as well all over the place. So yeah, it's cool. Annette, do you think the bloodlines from antiquity still rule today? Yes, 100%. I believe there are what we know as the Merovingi bloodline. Sorry, I've got a squeaky chair tonight. I've got to pick up more. I believe the Merovingi bloodline still runs true. For people that don't know what the Merovingi bloodline is, it's the bloodline that comes straight from Jesus. When we talk about bloodlines and the antiquity still ruling today, I think the 13 families bloodline is kept very pure because of things within the family. I do think they still rule today 100%. And I think they have a lot of say in what goes on in the world. My personal belief, Facebook fact checkers, if you want to throw me off for that, I'm allowed to have an opinion, you know, freedom of speech and all that lot. I would think there was a body. I would hope there was a body underneath it. The last thing you'd want to see is just a severed head. Colour Me Pinkish says, cool, my son DJs at clubs here too. Where's here? Colour Me Pinkish, let me know where here is. Well, you're going to have to... I don't know what RH negative is, right? I probably heard it as something else, right? But I don't know what RH negative is. Oh, in Texas, yeah, cool. I know you guys are like massively in... Because people sort of associate Texas with like country music and that. But I know that like America are just heavily took in with this like bass-driven EDM music at the moment, which I'm heavily into. So it's really, really cool. Absolutely agree, and yeah, 100%. I mean, there is so much evidence of the Merovingi bloodline still alive. Some know it as the Rose bloodline. there's a lot of people who have had past life regressions, and turns out that they can regress themselves back to the Rose bloodline, the original Rose bloodline of Jesus himself. So someone explain to me what RH negative is. Is that my son's DJ's trance dubstep? I was a tech house DJ, sort of like how do you describe it? If you was to go to Ibiza in like 2015, 2016, that's I was talking about rhesus negative. Oh, rhesus negative. Universe blood to all, but I can only have my own blood group. Oh, that just reminded me of something, right? Just put this up. I'm going to put this up for Annette. She said I'm RH negative. I'm pretty sure that stands for rhesus negative. I'm a universal blood donor to all, but I can only have my own blood group. 10 to 15% of the world are RH negative. Right. Yeah, I know. Auntie Anne's rhesus negative. Right, so let's look at this in the way my brain works, the way my mind goes a bit crazy. Now, we trace back to the theory of the Anunnaki that manipulated our DNA structure, manipulated our genetic structure to turn us what we are into today. So we're able to learn, we're able to process information, we're able to create information and create theories and scientific, and be able to study what we study nowadays to allow us to evolve into what we are today. Now, when you most genetics, most DNA is in our blood, so it's different from O negative. I don't know. I mean, that's for you guys to answer. I might be wrong. I don't know. RH, I just thought it was stands for rhesus negative. Right, so we go back to the Anunnaki theory now. You think about it in this way, right? If the Anunnaki were able to program our DNA, program our bloodline, program our genetics, they're obviously going to find a way to input some sort of code so they know their work, right? Bonnie, good evening, Damon. Sorry, been stuck with kiddies. We'll watch back. That's fine, Bonnie. We're doing an AMA. Ask me anything, okay? We're just talking about rhesus negative stuff now at the moment. So, computer hackers, when they write a code in, when they write a hack, they always have to put a signature inside. So, what if the rhesus negative bloodline, the 10 to 15%, or the RH negative, I'm going to call it RH negative because what you guys call it. What if the RH negative bloodline is a hidden coding for what the Anunnaki did with our DNA and genetic structure makeup? That's really odd. Sorry. Oh, we got a big one. This is from Dave Gamel. He's saying there is no contemporary evidence to support the idea of Jesus outside the Gospels for the first 500 years. Indeed, in the book of Caesar's Messiah, it is touted as a Roman conspiracy to bring the Jewish people in line with the empire. With that in mind, on the misinformation in books and films like the Da Vinci Code, what else is there to support a bloodline of someone who no doubt never really existed? Dave, great question. David, absolutely amazing question. I'm not saying that I believe he exists. I'm saying that I believe that there are bloodlines, Merovingi bloodlines and Rose bloodlines, which are bloodlines that do date back to a person with the name Jesus, let's say, right? We all know that the Council of Nicaea, which was conducted by Emperor Constantine I, decided on the divinity of Jesus himself. Now, if we look at the Da Vinci Code, where you mentioned the Da Vinci Code, we look at the story of the Templars, you know, their idea was to protect the bloodline. I don't know. I mean, that's proper stumped me. Honestly, that's a really, really good question. And I'm not going to pretend that I can answer that. Yeah, wow. Does Jesus basically exist? I don't know. I don't think so. I've just going on by what I've read, that there are evidence of the Merovingian and Rose bloodlines. I just believe that he was a man you know what I mean? It was a man, and I do believe, because the Bible's written way after he was around. You know, you have the evidence of the Council of Nicaea, touting his divination, picking the day for Christmas and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? That could be. Right, let's have a look. Dave, man, thumbs up. Best question I've had so far. I can't answer that. Based on what I've researched and my knowledge, I can't give you a definitive answer, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to do so. So yeah, that's what it is. Hi Jeanette, hi Bonnie. That's the kind of thing. It's all very interesting to me. I am BRH negative. It's the second rarest, since no one knows where it came from. It could be a hidden DNA signature from the Anunnaki. That's super interesting from Kate. Kind of people say, if you look up, there are many rabbit holes you can get into. Some are crazy. I'm not a reptilian alien, I don't think. You're talking about the Pindar. You're talking about the reptilian alien creatures that are able to take our skin and represent us. They are known as Pindar. And if you get into the hollow earth theory, I'm just in trouble. My mind is still on David's question. Like that's thrown me. When have you guys ever known for me to get to a point where I don't even know what to say? So
today.
Big shouts out to David Gamel. Like, amazing question.
Today.
Big shout out to Kate. Kate's asking, Damon, if you were to get another tattoo, where would it be? Actually, I've already planned to get another one. I am getting Anubis on the back of my hand here, followed by up the arm. I'm going to have Odin and Hugin and Mugin, which is two crows. That's the plan anyway. But the thing about life is you plan things and never quite go to plan. You know, you never, like, there's always something that steps in the way. Ad's coming pinkish when he's talking about rabbit holes, mate. Rabbit holes are one of them things where you go down and you don't come up for air. It's impossible to go anywhere further with them. I've been stuck in rabbit holes for a long time. I'm just reading Jacques Vallée's book on, it's called Messenger's Deception. I'm actually reading it for the second time. The first time there was things that I missed out. If you check out the Patreon, I did read an excerpt from that, which spoke about a meeting in Paris between a journalist and the French government, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what it said in that. That's my brother. I do my shows in the kitchen. Studio's not ready yet. I do my shows in the kitchen. Studio will be ready soon, I promise, guys. But yeah, I do it in the kitchen. So he's making a cup of coffee. It's obviously a bit thirsty.
I'm going to play FIFA now.
He's going to play FIFA now. There you go. This is the thing, guys. Like, I'm not like two things, right? I want to get to with David's question. I'm not going to pretend to give you an answer that I don't know the answer to. I'm not going to try and pull an answer out of thin air. And secondly, what you get with me is what you see. What you see is what you get. I'm down to earth. I don't sugarcoat anything. If I don't know the answer, I'll say I don't know the answer. The same when I go out investigating. If there's nothing there, I was trying to go, there's nothing here, turn the live off. Guys, see you next time. Like, I just think that honesty is the best policy when you go forward in this sort of game. But I mean, thumbs up to David Gamel. Amazing question. I don't know if I can break it down. Let's see if I can break it down. That might be a bit easier. There is no contemporary evidence to support the idea of Jesus outside of the Gospels. True. 100%. There is no evidence of Jesus apart from outside the Gospels, apart from if supposedly you read the book of Mary Magdalene, it talks about their life together. This was a part of the Bible that was thrown out by the Council of Nicaea because they believed that it made Jesus too much of a man and not the divine. So it's that one. Indeed, in the book, Caesar's Messiah is touted as a Roman conspiracy to bring the Jewish people in line with the empire. I can see that. I can see that as 100% in a conspiracy in itself. It makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. With that in mind, and the misinformation in books and films like the Da Vinci Code, what else is there to support a bloodline of someone who never really existed? Yeah, I mean, I know the Da Vinci Code was it wasn't completely untrue. It was based on truths that were taken from Templar scripts. that they were indeed supposed to guard the chalice. But I think with the Da Vinci Code, they sort of moved that around and made it into, like, the whole story of Mary Magdalene being his wife. And I think that sort of got mixed up in this sort of lost book of Mary Magdalene was supposed to go in the Bible. So I've tried to break it down. It's a very complex question. It had his face on it or something. What about his cloth in Turin with blood on it? I don't know about that one. Right, hold on. I'm lost now. Hold on. Right, the cloth in Turin. Not heard about that. You have to let me know about that one, Kate. I don't. If it was proven, which I don't think it would be, because that would have been all over the place. Big shouts out to Drew, Lee, and Nicholas. Welcome along. Rome has a lot to answer for. Do you know what? The funny thing is, right, with Dave's question and with Kate's question, yeah, the answers are in the Vatican archives, but you just can't get in there to see them. Vonnie, what's she saying? Damon, my head's always a shed, but I get into thoughts and always something bigger going on behind the scene. Going back to David's question, what else would have been going on at that time? Are you talking about the time of Jesus? I have no idea. I think if you look at it from history in itself, it's a conspiracy within itself. I think before the Council of what you're going about is before the Council of Nicaea, Jesus wasn't even classed as divine. The Council of Nicaea, Emperor Constantine I, along with the bishops and vicars and all the big heads of religion at the time, wanted to change the population from a pagan belief system, so a multiple god belief system, into a single god belief system. Yeah, and to make this single god seem more of otherworldly. Thank you, Damon. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for that. Actually, Drew. Sorry. And because they wanted to make this this one god seem more divine in himself, they gave him a miraculous son that was conceived without having to conceive in the way that we're supposed to conceive. And they decide on his divinity. And I think the whole thing, like David said in his question, I think everything was made to gain the population's trust. We all know how much the church ruled the world at one point. King Henry VIII couldn't even have a divorce. He had to create his own religion just to have a divorce. We all know that religion and politics have always been the main things that cause suffering and contestment and and war and stuff like that. So I think this was when you say about what was going on at that time, I think it was a conspiracy. Well, can I say this without getting banned? I can, because I think it's my opinion, and I think my opinion, I'm allowed my opinion in freedom of speech. In my opinion, I believe at the time, Bonnie, I believe that the 1%, the families, were trying to gauge the population's way of thinking and how subservient they were. And this is why this was created. Not taken away from anyone, not saying if you believe in Christianity, if you believe in Catholicism, you're wrong. This simply is my opinion, and I'm happy for people to go against it, because if you don't challenge things in life, you're never going to go. This chair is ridiculous. Oh my God. Colour me pinkish. Let's have a look what he says. He says, as much as the Vatican's archive interests me, and they do, I don't know that I'd really want to know what's in there. The possibilities are scary. And that's 100% true. That's 100% true. I can only liken that to when I found out that spirits exist. It just decimated my grip on reality. I think I was about 4 or 5. And it decimated what I've been taught, how I've been brought up, because I was taught in a certain way, and learning something new like that, something that maybe question everything, sort of like it sort of disbands your grip on reality. So I do agree with you. As much as I would love to get into the Vatican archives, I don't think I'd want to read everything that's in it. There are a couple of things I do want to read. I do want to read the original Exorcist journals from back miles back. They used to, the guild of exorcists that are sanctioned by the Vatican to perform. They keep logs and they keep files of every exorcism they conduct that are okayed by the Vatican, because we all know there's many exorcists that work without the okay of the Vatican. I'd like to see the information on that, because I don't believe demons possess. So that's my belief in that anyway. I'd like to see that. And what's the other? I'd like to see the original 3 books written by Michelangelo as well, on the whole thing with the theory of his theory on the Earth and the way that it revolves around our orbital core system and the sun and that. I'd definitely like to read that. Right now, Annette says, in Rome, a battle for control with 2 ideas of Christianity at the cost of anyone that dared to go against the Roman ideas. Yes, it is true. It is true. You had science at the time supporting the views of religion. The only thing they didn't support is the creation theory. The Vatican took this as an insult, and they persecuted anyone that went against what religion said. So yeah, that's 100% true in it. Hello, Drew. My best to you. Big shout out to Child. Kind of because I don't want to know the answer to that either. Big shout out to Kate saying, I believe that when OTT with the commandments and rules over the top with the commandments and rules, common sense, of course, but such strict rules were used to control and motivate populations, of course. Yes. If you go back in everything that we do, everything that humans have done, right, over the years and years and years, and civilizations, all the way back to some of the root races I mentioned earlier, the Polarians and the Hyperboreans, you know, there has always been some sort of control measure put in place, right? Because the people who are in power, I believe people are in power, are scared of what can happen when we are allowed to think of our own. For instance, let's look at society nowadays. Let's look at the things that put us under control. You have religion, you have politics, you have belief systems, you have politically correct things. You have money. Money is the main control of everything. It is what it is. We've always had some form of population control, but the main one that people sort of tend to shy away from when it comes to population control is fear. They use fear mainly to control populations. I don't know if you ever heard that people compare human beings to bacteria, because we settle, or a virus, because we settle, we mass populate, we take up every little single bit of space, and when that cell dies, we move on. That's what we are. It's part of history and what was going on at the time. 100%. It has always been. The next saying, the Spanish Inquisition was the same. Rome never died. No. If you look at the bloodshed over religion over the years, it's crazy. Not just in the Vatican, but in any sort of form when it comes to religion. The amount of people that have been sacrificed to the altars of religion is unbelievable. And it's only taken this amount of time for us to sort of start accepting science what it is. Kate says, I 100% believe we are a virus. Yeah, 100%. And we have destroyed the planet as our host. Yeah, the planet itself is the cell. We are the virus infecting that cell. Do I believe in global warming? Today I do, because it's bloody hot outside. But do I believe? I don't know. Maybe it's another form of control. I don't know. Colour Pinkish. I really hope I never encounter any kind of spirit. I don't know how I'd process that for me. It's just like the mystery, just like true crime. I love true crime, but I don't want to be part of it. Watch out for the pigeons. It's like any information you get, Colour Pinkish, that makes you question a core belief system within inside yourself. When I first switched over and become Norse, I had to question all the core belief systems that I had in the first place. I'm going to stand up because Shed's got nerves. I had to question all the core belief systems that I had first. because the Norse mythology actually goes against, and the Norse belief goes against what I was taught. Anything that makes you question a core belief, something that you've grown up with, something that's part of your bare essentials and your makeup, will shatter your grip on reality. But that can be a good thing. Like we say on the show all the time, it's all about thinking outside the box. It's all about taking the box and looking outside it. Now, don't forget, we have this, but people overlook it. We have two types. You have exocentric and esocentric. So exocentric is looking within the box, the valid information that's inside the box, looking at something that's inside, so esocentric. The exocentric is looking outside the box, so the information that goes beyond what we've already studied with inside the box. You know, so you have to look at things in that way. The open-mindedness of people is what makes us different from anybody else. The fact that we question our own grip of reality, we question where we come from, we question how we got here. And people have so many theories that you have the Adam and Eve theory, which is I've just seen a thing pop up from David. I'm like, oh no, he's done it again. Can I say, David, when we do the other dimension awards, you're definitely going into the best questions of the shows that we've had so far. It's amazing, your questions. I'm going to have to answer this question. So where do you think Atlantis was situated? For me, it falls down to two places: Santorini or the continent of Antarctica. I don't think it's actually situated in any. Just based on geological and satellite imagery, me and Ben have thrashed this out plenty of times. I mean, there are two places where I believe it could have been. One of them is completely out there, and it is solely based on hearsay evidence. Is the fact of when the alien craft landed in Rendlesham Forest, it contained a binary code, and the binary code gave coordinates to the English Channel where there used to be a city, and I believe it could have been there. But if you look at geological maps and if you look at satellite imagery, I believe Atlantis was placed somewhere around the Eye of Africa. I really do. I know, David, you've probably got some amazing evidence about Santorini and Antarctica, but to be honest with you, the only thing that I believe that's ever come out that could be in Antarctica, and I don't believe Antarctica surrounds the Earth because we're in a flat Earth. I don't believe that 100%, but I do believe in New Schwabenland in Antarctica. I do believe in that experimental, how would you say, it's experimental military base that was built by the Germans in New Schwabenland and the stuff that they used to do there. I hope that answers your question. I haven't got any more information on that. I feel so bad because David's asking some really good questions and I should really be answering because I said it and ask me everything. Bonnie's saying, David's question has intrigued me, got me on thoughts. Could the reason there is no DNA because he came from non-human? Could be. But then that goes back on the theory that I was saying when we talk about Rh negative bloodlines. Now, like I said, with hackers, they have to put coding in all their work so that you can identify it's them. Now, I believe the Rh coding, the Rh negative coding in the bloodline, the DNA, is something that was put there by the Anunnaki to let us know that they did this. So it could have been non-human. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that speculate theories that Jesus was an alien. I don't believe it myself. I really don't. But do you need DNA evidence to prove that somebody existed? No, you don't. Look at that famous time traveling guy that we mentioned in the show before. I can't remember the count of something. Not Monte Cristo. That was a book. It'll come to me in a minute. But yeah, I mean, do we need DNA evidence to prove that somebody existed? Well, we do nowadays, but they didn't back in the day. So I'm not actually 100% sure if you needed DNA evidence anyway. It might be bold people. I don't have a belief after the history I've read. I'm glad I don't follow anything. I'm more drawn to intervention theory, if anything at all. Intervention theory, is that the one that's the Anunnaki intervention with the DNA mock-up in it? You're not one of these people that believe Adam and Eve come down on a meteorite, do you? Because I don't think that's good. The current biggest now, I've got to go down rabbit holes for Atlantis. I don't know anything about it. Atlantis is a rabbit hole that you probably never come out of. I've been researching now for a little while. I'm not interested in where Atlantis was. That's not something that's ever interested me. I've been interested in the 7 major races that were said to believe to be in Atlantis. This is where my research, I take my research now. The 7 root races of Atlantis, the Atlanteans in themselves, but there were 7 sub races, and that's where I go down. I love that sort of stuff. Bonnie's saying yes, totally agree about the RH blood. I do as well. We talk about revelation of method when it comes to occultology. We talk about a way in which the alchemists, the occults, the whatever you want to call them, the mages of occultology, do revelation method. They show you what they're going to do before they do it. This is a prime example of it. The fact that the RH blood is only able to, you can donate to anybody, but you can only take that blood yourself. It just makes sense. It's so revelation method. Annette's saying RHO negative have to have injections to stop the blood attacking fetuses and other blood groups, and very straight. Exactly. You're talking about red blood cells not acting the way they should do, that they've been coded in a different way. The fact that they attack the fetuses, and you're talking about, look, you just got to look at what you just said, and it makes perfect sense. It's coded to attack fetuses. DNA can be programmed. Look at stem cell in itself. They can restructure stem cells to attack certain parts of cancerous cells and stuff like that. So it does make perfect sense. Do you have an opinion on why it tries to kill its baby? Whose babies? Oh, you're talking about that? No, I don't have an opinion on that. I just think it's viable evidence to the fact that it's been recoded. David, one more time, saying just one more, and thanks for taking the time. Any thoughts on the Philadelphia experiment? I've never looked at it. I touched on it slightly when I was looking at Montauk. I've never delved into it, but I tell you what, I am going to look into it. But I have no thoughts on that, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about that because I don't. I'm sure it's got something to do with nuclear fusion. I'm sure the Philadelphia experiment had something to do with nuclear fusion, but that could be me taking a really big risk saying that. So, and then read the Genome Project. Yes, read the Genome Project. That's crazy stuff. I mean, look at look what they do with the Hydrogen Collider, right? They literally, not me. She asked it. I've had 3 kids. Had to have radium shots before each and after each birth. Do you know what? They have probably found some way to give you a reason why it happens. But for something to be coded to be so aggressive, it just makes sense that it's something that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. I mean, our bodies are amazing. They do some amazing things, including attacking ourselves. We have immune systems that attack themselves. There's people with immunodeficiencies where the immune system attacks itself. It's crazy. It is crazy. Hi, Irene. Come on, Irene. How you doing? Yeah. I mean, like I said to you guys, I'm not one of these people that are going to start. Big ups to Colour Me Pinkish. I totally ran over that. Big ups to you, man. Absolute respect for the fact that you've had 3 kids and you've just gone fingers up to the people that tell me I can't do it because it attacked me. Man, big up to yourself. Big up. So, yeah, I mean, I don't pretend to know things. If I know about something, I'll give you an honest answer. If I don't know about something, I'll just say, look, I ain't got a clue. Like David asked about the Philadelphia experiment. I'm sure it's got something to do with nuclear reactions, but I have no idea, so I'm not even going to try and answer on it. it's just the way things are. You know, I mean, this head is only big enough to hold, and do you know what it is with me? I only have like a certain amount of storage space, so so when my storage space gets full, I have to throw out all the old information to get some new stuff in. Bonnie's saying that's what I like about you and your shows, Damon and Ben. You are so genuine. It is what it is. Like, we done this show to spread information, but we didn't do this show to spread false information or to make up information. Everything gets read and reread here. I mean, I've read, I've been reading a book by, I don't even know who it's by. It's all to do with occult Nazism. I've read it 3 times. Yeah, it's good. What I know, there is a creator. Charles Rudd, yes. A lot of people see. I'm going to be a bit controversial here. I'm going to be a little bit controversial. I think people call it the creator because they can't make their mind up on what. I believe that we all were spawned from Idrisil, the tree of life. That's my belief system. And that when I die, I will either head over and join Odin in the Hall of Valhalla, or I will go and help Frey and become a Valkyrie. That's my belief system, and I will stick by that until the day I die. Jet's saying interesting night again. Oh, you getting rid of me, Jeanette? Is that what it is? Yeah, you want to go make a cup of tea? You and Kev, bang out of order. I feel used. I want to do that live review about Nazis and the occult and Antarctica. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Annette, we'll have to arrange that 100%. I have to dig out some of my old research, but yeah, I'm happy to do that. The experiments that they did in not just New Schwabenland, but in Bran Castle in Romania are off the chain. We're talking like original Montauk stuff. And the Nazis and occult, that goes back to like the late 1800s, early 1900s with the start of Wottonism. So can definitely go into that. We can talk about people like Helena Blavatsky and Guido von List and people like that. It's going to be amazing. Right, guys, don't forget, I think Ben's doing a show on Sunday. I can't confirm with him because he's not bloody here. That would be great, Jeanette. Blow my yeah, definitely. I think Ben's got a show on Sunday. I'm thinking about doing a surprise live on Sunday. I want to talk about a few things, a few theories, and I might do a surprise. Keep your eyes peeled. I might do. Better go check the kiddies. Be right back. I might do a surprise live on Sunday. I'm not 100% sure. It all depends on time. But if I do a surprise live on Sunday, it's going to be good because I'm going to blow some minds. Kay knows what I'm talking about when I talk about rattlesnake venom. Yeah, I think I need to start putting that out there. I don't know if the world's ready yet, but there we go. But I am looking to do a surprise live on Sunday. Ben's show will be live at 7:30 on Sunday night. Don't forget to catch Supernatural live tomorrow night from 9 p.m. on their channel, facebook.com/Supernatural UK. Annette, idea. Why don't you sort out a show where I come on and we just talk conspiracies and we just have like a free-for-all? Because if you get blocked, it's okay. Colin Pinkish, thanks for answering never ending questions. No problem. Joe, what I would love to do one of these every week, on like a specific day. Just do it like an Ask Me Anything, because it'd be quite cool. I think it's quite cool. Yeah, that's it. Sorted. Right, guys, keep it locked for that one. There will be a free-for-all conspiracy show on the next page. It's gonna be huge, fungus. Don't forget, catch us live here each and every Sunday, every Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. on the Other Dimension. Thank you all so much for locking in. I tell you what, guys, I'll arrange it. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll start doing AMAs with me weekly. All right. And I may even broadcast them over to the Patreon as well. Yeah, don't forget to lock in with us, guys, each and every week at this time. If you want merchandise, check our page. If you want to know about the event that we're doing a talk out on the 24th of September, and then it'll be more than 6 months. Oh my God. let's put it this way. Kate mentioned something about vegan and I turned it into a conspiracy. I'm off my nut. If you want merchandise on our page, if you want to join Discord, it's links are on our page. Guys, we can't do this without you. You guys are absolutely amazing. Like I've said so many times, I would rather have the 10, 11 core listeners that we have, with your guys' support rather than have 1 million listeners anytime. You guys are absolutely amazing. Cannot stress it enough. But I'm out of here because I haven't had a bath yet since I've been back from the gym. So it's time to go and have a dip. So until next week, guys, take care. And always remember that Damon's always right. Now, always remember there's no other explanation. There is always the other dimension.